Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Metal Album Reactions. We're going to do a song reaction this morning. This is by a band called Vreid. I think that's how you say that. It's Vreid. And the song is called Black Rites and the Black Knights, and it's through Seasons of Mist. I'm almost positive, just based on the name of the song, that this is going to be some black metal variant. I don't know if it's going to be pure black metal. It might be some sort of fusion with another genre, maybe death metal or doom or something. But I think that this, based on the way it looks, just the vibe I'm getting, it seems like it's going to be black metal. So, yeah, it's 6 minutes and 46 seconds. There's a lyric video I'm going to post up right here. And let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. This is Vreid, Black Rites and the Black Knights. I love that kind of chuggy riff in there. They got to break up the black metal, just the traditional black metal every now and then with stuff like that to keep it interesting anymore, because there have been so many black metal bands since, the late 80s or mid 80s. I mean, a lot of people trace the roots of black metal back to bands like Venom and Celtic Frost, and they were around in the early 80s, but since 1990, man, we've had so many black metal bands playing in the same style. It seems like we've got, obviously, Dark Throne, Marduk, all the rest of them, Gorgoroth, Burzum, whatever. And then we've had bands like Emperor come along, and, Dimmu Borgir, and Watain, and there's just a lot of different bands that play. Seems like a lot of them play in the same general vein, and some of them try to deviate, and they add additional elements to the music, be it symphonic or death metal or whatever it happens to be. But if you're just playing that straight black metal style, that old school shit, man, today in 2018, I feel like you need a little bit more than just that simple formula to be able to write effective music. I mean, at least for my ears. Some people like listening to the same thing over and over and over again, but I'm not one of those people. I like bands that experiment within a certain context, that experiment with different sounds within the boundaries of that context. And they find new ground that hasn't been explored in a certain genre. That's pretty cool. So I like the fact that this band is actually, they're not playing it so by the numbers. They're actually, there's some different things going on in here. That's really refreshing. So. I gotta admit, though, despite what I said, this is still pretty close to the original formula. So, but it's being executed pretty well. I gotta admit. I just don't know if I'd be able to listen to an entire album of this. Not because it's grating to the ear or it's, you know, just I don't like the music. I mean, I think it's good music, but at the same time, I get so bored and annoyed just listening to the same approach every single time. So, and that goes for all genres. I mean, if something feels to me to be too formulaic, then it's really kind of a turnoff for me, and it's hard for me to get into it. So, but like I said, this seems to be like the actual music itself, what they're doing. It sounds like they're pulling it off really well. So. Yeah, at this point in time, I think that black metal is a little bit of an antique. It's a little bit passé, and like I said before, in order for bands to really distinguish themselves and to get out of that tight box, they have to expand the limits of the genre in one way or another. However they choose to do it is up to them. Whatever direction they choose to go in, it is what it is. But, you know, for example, maybe the two black metal bands that I've been most impressed with, at least the last maybe 10, 15 years, and I think they've both been around for longer than that. You look at bands like Dark Fortress and Enslaved. I mean, Enslaved comes directly out of, well, they started off doing like pagan and Viking metal, but you know, they were a black metal band basically, and then they chose to take the genre into a completely new direction. And a lot of old school purists in black metal don't like that. You know, why would they? It compromises the original sound. But without bands like that, and Dark Fortress, if you listen to the album reaction that I did for their album, Venereal Dawn, if you listen to stuff like that, that is actually taking an original sound and experimenting with it in a very successful, interesting, novel way. That's what I really want to hear. That's what I'm looking for. And where would black metal be today without bands like Enslaved, man? It would be a very tired, old, boring genre. So that is what it is. But I thought this was good. I don't know if these guys are going to be able to separate themselves from the throngs of other bands, though, that are trying to pull off the same sound. And that's the trouble, is that if you're starting a band and you want it to be a black metal band and you have all these influences and inspirations from the early 90s Norwegian scene, and you churn out music that sounds like Mayhem, or it sounds like Gorgoroth, or it sounds like, you know, whatever, then it's going to be tough, man. You're going to have a tough ride, because your album is going to be set against and compared to 100 other albums that are going to be sounding the exact same by bands just like yours trying to do the same thing. And so instead of going that route, I would encourage bands, if you're interested in black metal, you want to start a band, do something creative with it. Don't just, rehash old ideas that you've learned from music that is now approaching 25 years old or older. It's like bands that come around that how many token small town blues bands do you know? Bands that are playing stuff that sounds like Steppenwolf and Led Zeppelin, and you don't want to be one of those bands, man. You want to actually separate yourself out from the pack and do something different. So that's what would be my advice to bands that are coming up right now that are interested in this style of music. Take it in a different direction, experiment, do something a little bit off the wall, because that's going to help get you noticed. But I thought this was overall, it was a well-executed song. It's just, I knew what it was going to be going into it, and I hate that feeling sometimes. I see the name of the band, the song title, the thumbnail for the video, and I feel like I know exactly what it is and what it's going to be. And then I listened to it, and I was spot on. It's exactly what it is. I mean, it shouldn't be like that. There should be somewhat of an element of surprise there, or at least not knowing, feeling like you don't know what it is. And it's more fun that way is what I'm saying. So, but anyway, I think I've talked long enough. That's the end of the video, guys. If you like the song, let me know in the comments why. Let me know what you guys would like to hear me review or react to in the future. This is Metal Album Reactions. I hope you're having a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.